Can I make this cheap guitar sound any good? Let's see. So today I have one of my first guitars with me. It's almost 15 years old. The time of purchase, it cost perhaps less than $18. In my currency, it was about 300 to 400 rands. I finally have it back with me and I'm stoked about it. I learned how to play guitar on this. I also learned how to write my first songs on this guitar, so it has many good memories and it's something that I want to keep and treasure. If you're wondering about this fancy paintwork, well, that's just me in my younger years going wild thinking that I'm going to be a rock star with an acoustic guitar. Well, if I'm being truthfully honest, it actually wasn't really my first guitar, because my first guitar was actually this size. Now this has no strings on it, neither does it have keys, courtesy of my nephew. So I want to see today if I can get decent recordings with a cheap acoustic guitar like this that it's completely in terrible condition. The strings are very old on this guitar. Nevertheless, I want to see if I can get good results and see if I can polish it up thereafter in the mixing process, and let's see what results we come up with. So stick around till the end for that. Okay, let's record a second take just to create a stereo effect on the left and the right. Okay, I think we should layer some vocals on top of that. La 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 la. You came to my rescue, made my life brand new, and you gave me a new heart, a heart that thirsts after you forevermore. I don't know about you, but I think that sounds pretty good given the fact that it's a absolutely cheap guitar that's 15 years old. The strings are all out, the condition of the guitar is bad, but I think we managed to sound decent. The only thing that's really bugging me is that the intonation seems to be a little bit off, and that is why you can hear some notes sound a little bit off, but nevertheless I still think it sounds a bit good. So let me show you what I've done here in the mixing process. The first track here, I've applied an EQ where I've rolled off the low end to about 114 Hertz. I've applied a cut at around 588 Hertz at minus 1.9 dB, and then I've just rolled off some of the highs at around 14K, and that's just because usually the cheaper guitars tend to sound more tinier and more bright, whereas the expensive acoustic guitars tend to sound more warmer. So I've just rolled off some of the top end to make the guitar sound a bit more warmer. The next thing that I've done is I've got a Slate Digital rack here where I've added a virtual preamp, and that's basically to emulate a real mic preamp, since I do not have an external mic preamp. That's just to add some warmth and character to the recording. I've got a virtual console here again to add warmth. I've dialed in the input a bit here so that when the track is playing, came to my rescue, some peaks are being compressed here, and what that does is it adds a bit of soft clipping and saturation, which I feel is better than adding too much of compression. So the next plugin that I've got here is another EQ, and basically on this EQ I've boosted at around 5K, and well, that's all I've done on this. Then I added a compressor. Now the compressor is not doing that much. I've got the attack pretty slow and the release about an average at a ratio of 4. Made my life brand new. So it looks like the gain reduction is below 5. However, even though it's below 5, it's much lighter than that because I've got the mix knob dialed in pretty low. It's at 36%. So only 36% of the compressed signal is being sent through. The rest is the direct dry signal. So I've added another compressor at the end here. And what I've done with this compressor is I've got the threshold right down so that it's not just touching the peaks, but it's grabbing the entire vocal. However, I've got the ratio very, very low. I've got it around 1.034 and I've got it on auto release, and I'm aiming for about 2 to 3 dBs of gain reduction. You came to my... So if I solo that acoustic, so you can see it's a very natural sound in compression. The acoustic doesn't sound overly compressed. It sounds very natural. I've got an auto makeup gain at the bottom. So the next thing that I've done with this acoustic track is I've added some reverb, but I've added it on a send. So I've sent this track to my reverb channel. And what I've done on the reverb channel is I've got the reverb panned a little bit to the right. Now this acoustic track is actually panned to the left, but I've got the reverb of this acoustic track panned the other side to the right. So that helps the reverb stand out from the acoustic. So the next acoustic track, I've got virtually almost the same processing. However, I've rolled off more of the low end and more of the high end so that it doesn't clash. Then once again, I've added a virtual preamp and a virtual console. EQ as well, yeah, is the same. With the compression, I'm also doing the same. So everything is the same here on this late rack. Then I've done the same thing again here with the compressor. So everything is virtually the same apart from the high pass and the low pass filters on this acoustic track. And then with the reverb, I've done the same trick as the last. I've sent the track to a reverb channel and I've got the reverb panned to the left because this acoustic track is panned to the right. So together, both acoustics sound like this. I think that sounds really sweet. Let's take out the reverb for a second. And I'm going to bring it in. Man, that sounds sweet. For a cheap guitar, that sounds really good. So that's basically what I've done here. And that's just to show you that there is no excuse. No matter what gear you have, you can make use of it, make good music. It might not compete with a Martin or a Taylor. It might not compete with top studio gear, but you can still make good sounding music even with cheap budget gear. So I hope you found value in that video. If you did, be sure to like the video and consider subscribing. Let us know in the comments what tips and tricks you use for recording and mixing your acoustic tracks. I'll see you in the next video. That